Alright everybody, welcome back to yet again another video, and today we are previewing a team that has done off-season improvements or updates all the way up until a few days ago. The Montreal Canadiens. Today this is our 2022-23 Canadiens season preview. So the Canadiens obviously had a pretty bad season last year, and by pretty bad I mean the worst in the entire NHL. They went 22, 49, and 11 for 55 points. They had 221 goals for and 319 goals against. They obviously missed the playoffs. Nick Suzuki was their leading scorer with 21 goals, 40 assists for 61 points. And their leading goalie played the most games was Sam Montembeault with 8, 18, and 6 record with a 3.77 goals against average. It was a rough year. It was absolutely a rough year, but their offseason kind of made up for it. It was a pretty good offseason, like some of the acquisitions that they obviously made. So some of their departures are Jeff Petrie, Alex Romanoff, Shea Weber, Ryan Poehling, and Cedric Paquette. One of the most notable things, excuse me, is that defense has gotten significantly weaker. That is something that I definitely think. Getting rid of Petrie and Romanoff. Petrie, some people criticize him. Romanoff was a solid young defenseman who didn't really pan out all too well, but this defense still is weaker nonetheless. I mean, I'm not too sure. It's a young defense. It really is a young defense core, so I'm wondering, what is going to obviously come with it. But anyways, their acquisitions were pretty good. They acquired Juraj Slafkovsky, first overall in the draft, Kirby Dach, Evgeny Dadonov, Mike Matheson, and Sean Monahan most recently. So obviously they're acquiring some bad contracts, like the Monahan deal, in exchange for a first-round pick, which the conditions are beyond confusing. But there you go. When you look at their overall projected lineup, starting off here with their top six, you have Juraj Slafkovsky, Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, Jonathan Drouin, Kirby Dach, and Josh Anderson. Very young top six there. Your entire first line is a lot of younger players. So there's not a lot of veteran-type leadership with this team. There's a lot of younger players. There's some young guys, like obviously Brendan Gallagher, but they're not listed yet. But definitely a pretty young top six with some of your younger players, and they're trying to get them better. Obviously, there on your bottom six, you have Mike Hoffman, Christian Dvorak, Brendan Gallagher, Rem Pitlick, Sean Monahan, Evgeny Dadonov. Then for your extras, you have Paul Byron, Jake Evans, Joel Armia, and Michelle Steffens. So you got a pretty deep team here. With some very deep, notable, solid players in this lineup. Obviously, Rem Pitlick was one of the most positive things for Montreal last season, so obviously, hopefully, he can bring that energy into this year. Monahan, I mean, he has 1 year left on his contract. Monahan. I know I say it so many different ways. But Monahan has 1 year left on his big contract, so obviously there he's probably going to just play this year and then walk to the free agency market. Maybe Montreal brings him back, who knows? We have no idea what happens in a whole season. But obviously, Monahan probably going to play that fourth-line center role. And then obviously, Evgeny Dadonov as well, an interesting forward they acquired in the Vegas trade. He's a solid player, but we'll see how he does. Definitely there. The defense is kind of weak, but it's also really young. You have Joel Edmondson and David Savard. Then you have Mike Matheson and Justin Barron. Then you have Harris and Weidman. Then you have Goulet and Norlinder. So you have a pretty... It's kind of a deep defense. We're going to see guys like Norlinder and Goulet and Harris get some time up in the NHL level. Obviously, Barron as well. But this is a pretty young defense overall. There's some older players on this, definitely. Like, obviously, Edmondson's old. Matheson's up there. Savard as well. But a lot of these guys are going to be younger. They're probably going to get more time, some of these players that I have up top. But obviously, hopefully, those defensemen definitely pan out. And then, obviously, your goaltending tandem for this year is Jake Allen and Sam Montembeault, and then you have Caden Primo as your third string. And you're probably wondering, well, where's Carey Price? It's probably the last time we're going to see Carey Price. I'm going to be honest with you. He's not playing the whole year with an injury. He's likely going to miss the entire year. It's unfortunate. It really is. Because seeing injuries like that, you don't like that at all, no matter what player it is. It's really unfortunate for a guy like Carey Price. He's an unbelievable goaltender, and just injuries might be the thing that kills him. Here, obviously, it really does suck, and it is unfortunate, but it is kind of just something we have to live with, I guess. And Montreal's going to have to try and do something about it. And now there's been rumors of Jake Allen even being on his way out as well. That's something that could be coming obviously there, but right now we don't know anything yet. Now moving on to your biggest question. So how will the young guys do? That's my only question right now. And I know I've asked that for a bunch of different teams, but that really is the question here. How will the younger guys do? You got guys like Slavkovsky coming up. We may see players in that forward core that I don't even have mentioned in the depth chart here come up. That defense, Harris, Goulet, Norlander, and Baron are obviously going to probably get their first big stints in the NHL. So we'll see how they can do. And, just some of the other younger guys like Kirby Dach. Let's see here. Jake Evans is pretty young. Rem Pitlick. You got some younger players in this lineup. We'll see how these guys correlate, the chemistry, how that develops with each other, and maybe, just maybe, they can develop good enough chemistry that maybe they'll come close. Maybe not make the playoffs, but they'll come close to it. So anyways here, moving on to your point projections according to the Hockey News' fantasy guide. So moving over here to Montreal, completely unprepared. So Montreal here, their leading scorer is going to be, according to the Hockey News, Nick Suzuki with 68 points. Then you have Cole Caulfield there leading the way with 62. Then you have Juraj Slavkovsky with 54. Mike Hoffman at 4th with 49th. And then Kirby Dach with 46 points as well. So all the younger players except for Mike Hoffman, they're probably planning on a bounce back season from Hoffman. Definitely believe that he can probably have a bounce back year, 100%. But overall, that seems pretty accurate. As for your sleeper or your bust, it's actually Evgeny Dadonov, according to the Hockey News. Dadonov had 20-plus goals in 4 of his past 5 seasons, but his his history, I'm just going to say that, takes him to his 4th team in 4 seasons. The 2023 UFA 33 may get top 6 time to bump his value, but history says he won't hit his ceiling. That is true. Dadonov has a history of not panning out to what you want him to be, so maybe he doesn't do that too well in Montreal. He's bounced around the league a lot. He's been with Florida, Ottawa, Vegas, and now Montreal. So he's been around a lot. So obviously going back up to Canada there. Always been a fan of Dadonov. Hopefully he does well with the Montreal Canadiens. So now your question is, well, does Montreal make the playoffs? And that is the thing with me. To be honest with you, I don't think so. But will this team be better? Absolutely. This team will absolutely be way better than they were this past year. I think that you could argue it was a fluke. You could argue making the finals was a fluke as well. But overall, I think this team is solid. They have some potential, and they have some potential to maybe do some damage. But nothing really this season. This is really the season to try and develop some of the younger guys. Get this team in shape. Ken Hughes has done a very good job, in my opinion, fixing and turning this team around. So overall, they won't make the playoffs, but I think they'll definitely do better than last year. Maybe finishing 7th or 6th in that division. Probably not too far down below in the standings, really. Maybe mid-20s. But nothing really terrible. I think this team should be definitely better, but not playoff better. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching. For us personally, I really do appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe down below if you are new. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Adios.